Call to order the Avon Town Council meeting for May 26, 22. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Julie, would you mind taking roll call, please?
Greg Zuzan.
Present.
Don Loudon.
Present.
Robert Pope.
Present.
Aaron Teveball.
Present.
Steve Eisenbarth.
Present.
First item on the agenda, the consent agenda. Any questions? Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second. Go ahead. Steve.
We got a first and second. Looks like Dawn's claiming it. Julie, roll call, please.
Don Loudon.
4.
Robert Pope.
4.
Greg Zuzan.
4.
Steve Eisenbarth.
4.
Aaron Teveball.
Form. Next, looks like we got the approval for the minutes. Next item is the approval of the minutes for the town council work session 5/12.
That's actually part of the consent agenda.
okay?
This is a weird, I apologize, a weird agenda today.
Got it. I was about to say it was separated on mine.
Yep,
No worries.
we're right at public comment.
Next item is the first of 2 public comment opportunities. You may comment on items on the agenda that are not a public hearing or on a specific matter within the council's jurisdiction. Please come forward to the microphone, state your name and address, and limit your time to 3 minutes. Seeing no one come forward, we'll close that section of public comment. Move on to council comment liaison reports. Ms. Loudon.
Attended the Plan Commission meeting on Monday evening. It was another all-nighter. No, it went till
No,
10
it wasn't.
p.m. Lots of things there. And then also attended the Police Merit Board meeting where they recognized the 3 officers and presented them their weapons and shields.
Mr. Teveball.
Yeah, we had a meeting this week with the school corporation to get some information on the upcoming Oriole Estates project. Got up to speed on that and assisted with the selection committee for the new parks director. So excited to see the news on that next week. Is that right, Ryan, next week? Okay, all right.
Mr. Zuzan.
I also attended a meeting with school corporation regarding Oriole Estates. Attended the chamber luncheon at Aquatic Park. And I'd like to thank our veterans for their service, those that have passed, those that are in the service, and those that have retired and their families. Thank you.
Mr. Eisenbarth.
I also attended the Plan Commission meeting. Yeah, it went 3 hours. It wasn't too bad. And, one of the quality things I'm seeing of these meetings is that they're really being thoughtful about how they approach it. So like when we see it coming forward that it's been continued, you think, oh man, what happened here? Who didn't have everything in order? But what happened, we had several discussions where after the discussions they decided, let's refine it and work on it. And the reason I like that is that, as you know, when it comes to us, we want to have it all find out and taken care of. So I think we're moving in that direction. So I just want to comment on that. I have a meeting coming up with the school too concerning the project. So that should go well. And I've been responding to some public comments too. That's all.
Thanks, Steve. So same thing. I attended that with Greg, the meeting with the schools and Oriole Estates to provide some feedback to help them make that better. Attended the chamber board meeting. There wasn't much to update there other than the schedule events. I joined Dawn with the police merit board, saying farewell and give a big thanks to longtime merit board commissioner and Avon High School Vice President Frank Myers, as well as finally awarding the badges and service weapons to those 3 recent retiring officers. Earlier today, participated in the second round interviews for Parks Director. I think we had a pair of great candidates, and I think Ryan has a tough choice ahead of him. And also just shortly ago, attended the soft opening of Murphy Aquatic Park. It looks like they're ready for Saturday, and this is going to be kind of a big thing for the community. Next item on the agenda, new business redevelopment commission determination of no excess assessed value. Are you taking this one, Ryan?
Yeah, I'll take it. Every year, the redevelopment commission is actually required to make a determination if they need all the assessed value in the TIF districts to be able to support projects. So every year prior to June 15th, they consider a resolution, which is copied to you guys here, basically lays out projects that they have planned and basically identify whether or not, like I said, they need that assessed value. So this year, like the previous years, the redevelopment commission made the determination that there is no excess AV to pass through to other taxing entities. And so we are sharing that with the town council, and I believe our legal counsel would like for you guys to approve that as well.
Yes, you can approve it or deny it or modify it, but the resolution lays out the fiscal reality for you. And I would recommend that you approve their determination.
Do we have any questions for staff? If not, entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that, first, it's explained very well. I think we have a good breakout of information there. So resolution 2022-02 that we accepted as presented.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Julie, take a roll call, please.
Aaron Teveba,
4.
Robert Pope,
4.
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Steve Eisenbarth,
4.
Don Loudon.
4.
Let's see, next item on the agenda, agreement with Hendricks County Recycling District.
Yes, we received a $5,000 grant from the Hendricks County Recycling District for the Parks Department to purchase recycled benches. And so in order to move forward with the purchasing of that stuff, the Hendricks County Recycle District has asked we approve this agreement. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for staff? I'll entertain a motion.
I did the last one.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Hendricks County Recycling District Community Grant Agreement as presented.
Second.
We have a first and a second. I think Aaron beat him on that one. Julie, would you mind taking a roll call, please?
Robert Pope,
4.
Steve Eisenbarth,
4.
Aaron Teveba,
4.
Don Loudon,
4.
Greg Zuzen.
4.
Next item on the agenda is resolution 2022-5, equipment for retiring officer, pardon me. Sean, you handling that one?
Good evening, Sean Stoops, Chief of Police. Yeah, we have another officer that it looks like she's going to be retiring here in the next couple months, and we were just asking for the traditional service weapon and badge to be awarded to that officer upon retirement.
Any questions for Sean?
I'm glad we're doing this. I mean, it's an honor for us as a council members to do this, so.
Do we have a shadow box for her?
We do.
All right.
We ordered extra last time.
Excellent. If no further questions, entertain a motion.
I move we approve resolution 2022-05 as presented.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Julie, would you mind taking a roll call, please?
Don Loudon,
4.
Robert Pope,
4.
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Aaron Teveba,
4.
Steve Eisenbarth.
4.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Resolution 2022-06, declaring an economic revitalization area, Rise Avon LLC. Take it you're going to speak on this.
Yeah, I'll maybe just introduce this real.
Pardon me,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
Let the record show Don Loudon stepped out of the room.
Yeah, so actually, I'm going to speak a little bit to both of these next two agenda items. I think it's been since last year since we had any tax abatements come before the town council. So the first step in the process is for the council to basically acknowledge that the project is eligible for a tax abatement. And that's kind of this step that's on your agenda tonight. So you'll do what's called the declaratory resolution. And if you pass that declaratory resolution, then staff actually has to advertise for a public hearing. And then you'll have a second resolution that will be is a confirmatory resolution that would confirm and basically grant that tax abatement. So this is the first step in a several step process. Both of these projects are kind of still actively working their way through the planning process, but are kind of close to the end of the road. So you won't see these again if you do approve them tonight. The earliest you'll see them is June 23rd, just because of that 10-day public hearing notice. just the way our paper works, we can't advertise to get 10 days in advance of your June 9th meeting. So the earliest you'll see it is June 23rd. And again, so they have application forms that they provide, and so that information is provided to you. There is someone here from DRG. If you guys want to have questions, Rise informed me they would not have somebody here tonight. I did tell them that that's not a big deal. Typically at this phase, normally that confirmatory resolution is kind of the point, just like ordinances, that the council would ask questions and get answers if you have any concerns. So I'm happy to answer any other questions.
Any questions for Ryan? And if not, we have Mr. Taylor here as well. If there's any questions for staff.
Question I have is, and it's regarding RISE, I think that's the first one. Has this been approved by the Plan Commission?
No, not yet. It was actually on the agenda on Monday night. And so we did have some expectation that tonight it would be approved by Plan Commission, but it did not. So it was continued. And again, that's a little bit why I offered that explanation of they still have time to still get approval. They do have zoning approval, and they also have plat approval. They just haven't gotten their DPR approval, which is the last of the 3 approvals they need. So they've made it through several steps in the process, just not the last one.
So are we putting the cart before the horse then on this?
I don't think so, just because this is just the declaratory resolution piece. There may be some validity to waiting on the confirmatory resolution to see if it actually gets approved, but I don't think there's any harm in doing the declaratory resolution at this point.
Because you'll look at the number of jobs and you look at the salary range and all these other items. It seems high. I mean, these are going to be individuals, maybe a sole owner or sole proprietor of his own business, moving from his garage to one of these facilities. You may have 1 to, I don't know, 2, 3 employees. So when you look at that employee number, that looks like a big number. And then the other thing is, this is a 2-phase process, right? I mean, they're going to build this in 2 phases. Are we going to approve this for both phases, or are you looking at just doing it for phase 1, see how that rolls out, and then go to phase 2?
I don't recall, John. Do you recall if they're building it in 2 phases or if it's just 1?
I don't know if this is a 2-phase build. The other thing about. Well, it's got here phase 1 and 2 projections.
The other thing about a tax abatement is to keep all of you involved and to give you the ability to make decisions. They have to every year come before you again and confirm that we did invest the amount, that we did hire the number of jobs. So for example, somebody comes to us and says, we'd like to invest $10 million and hire 500 people. Next year, they have to come before you and say, we invested more than $10 million and we hired more than 500 people. And if they come before you and say, well, we didn't build as big a building, so we only invested $8 million. And because we had a smaller building, we didn't need to invest and hire 500. We hired 350. You have the ability every year out after that to say, we're going to approve this for this coming year, or we're not going to approve it. Come back and see us next year. So if they don't invest and they don't hire the number of jobs they said they would, then next year you can say for year 2023, your abatement will not be available to you. And then they have to come back in 2024. At some point, you can drop the abatement completely. But every year they have to come before you and prove that they've actually done that. You know, we have a large employer here in town that for a couple of years had trouble finding people. And they came in front of you and said, we invested the money, but we just can't find employees. And you went ahead and approved it for that year. Well, they could come back again this year and say, we invested all the money we said we were going to, but we lost jobs this year. Well, then at that point, you can say your abatement's not available to you in 2023 or 2024 or whatever. It still gives you every year the ability to say no to the abatement. Now, the other thing is none of these companies, because we don't know who they are, none of these companies will have come to us and said, we'd like to ask for an abatement on furniture and fixtures or equipment or any of that, because we don't know what they're going to have. And I would think that in some of these buildings, as small as they are, they'll have very little equipment and the abatement will be next to nothing if they ask for it. So all you're looking at is the construction of the buildings, the real estate improvements that are going on that property.
So based on your presentation there, say they come back to the next year and they didn't meet our expectation, their expectations, what tax do they pay? Do they pay 95% of the tax?
No, they would go back, if you say, we're not offering the abatement this year, then they pay 100% of their tax. You just take it away from them is what you're doing, because they haven't met what they've said, that they haven't met their commitment. And that's why lots of times the company will come to town knowing they're going to invest 10 million and they know they're going to invest 10 million, but they come to you and say, we want to debate on an $8 million investment. And they know they're hoping to invest or hire 150 people, and they tell you they're going to hire 130. And then the next year they come in and say, well, we had committed to an $8 million investment, and we invested 10, but your abatement you're going to offer them is on that $8 million, not the 10. But by giving a lower number and accepting that the abatement will be less, they're kind of guaranteeing them to themselves that there's a bad year, or they don't have to invest as much, or they can't hire people, that they'll still come in and be able to tell you that we met what we committed to you.
Question. So, John, this is probably for you, but maybe Ron will know too. One of the exhibits, Exhibit B, shows the site plan, which I know is going to be changing based on the Plan Commission and what we were talking about in the continuance. So are we obligated, can this be contingent on the revised site plan after approval?
You can make a contingent on anything you want. Is that?
No.
No.
They're two different issues. Please don't mix the issues.
Okay.
The planning and zoning approvals are different. This is just tax abatement. And this is really what I call a preliminary approval. If you grant this, then as John mentioned, they have to come before you every year, and usually it's May, and they have to show you they have substantially complied with the estimates on this form. And I agree with John also, is that they have it's not in their best interest to overstate these estimates. They have to show you substantial compliance. And so I think they're usually pretty conservative in what they show here, because they want to be able to do more than that. But every year then it's up to the council as the fiscal body to determine whether or not they're in substantial compliance with their original request. How many jobs did they create, and how much in new salaries or wages did they create? And it's those two things you look at when you go in. What was the capital invested? How many jobs did it create? And what was the amount of payroll that it created? Those are the issues for tax abatement. Now, I would also say that, the development plan at the Plan Commission, which has been referred to, is a ministerial approval. The rezone, which was discretionary, has already been granted to them. They already have plat approval. I assume they just need to come in and show a plan that complies with our ordinance. It would be inappropriate for you to condition an approval tax abatement on anything to do with planning and zoning. Be inappropriate. This is a completely different issue. This is about whether these are the kind of jobs you want to create and capital investment you want in your community. If they are and you want to incentivize it, then there you go. And those numbers, Greg, I think when I first looked at it, I thought like you did, those look like that. Those are big numbers. But it's their duty then to show substantial compliance. My guess is these are conservative estimates from their point of view.
The other thing is, you can offer an abatement different from 10 years with a sliding scale from 10 to 100 to 0. You can offer them a 50% abatement for 5 years. You can offer them a 70% abatement for 5 years. It's up to the council to make the determination how much of an abatement you want to give. Very standard all across the state of Indiana is 10 years. And in most communities, either do a 10-year 50% each year, or they do a 10-year sliding, which means they abate 100% the first year, 90%, 80%, all the way down. And when you do that, you're actually abating about 48%.
Dan, I kind of got a follow-up question to you. This tonight is just essentially just an introduction. We're not granting the tax abatement. This is just, hey, we're considering it.
Right. This is the declaratory resolution which declares that you believe this is the type of investment you want, and you're going to take the next step in the process by having a public hearing, allowing the public to come in or anyone else and state what they think about that. And it is a long process. This is the beginning of the process. I agree with Ryan. I don't think there's any reason to delay this because of the the redevelopment plan issue, because there's going to be a lot of time passed between now and then. But what the approval of the resolution does, it is two things. One, it begins your process for public hearing. Secondly, it sends the message to these two businesses that you're interested in hearing what they have to say.
Thanks, Dan. Any further questions for staff?
Well, I have one more comment.
Yes, sir.
The second abatement you have in front of you is one that, as we did earlier this year, we made all businesses building spec buildings over 100,000 square feet, they were guaranteed to get a 10-year abatement on the building. So the one you're most concerned about is the first one. The second one's automatic. It's coming before you to say, this is happening. But the first one's the one that you should be most concerned about.
And at the moment, we're talking about just the first one right now, Rise. Thanks, John. Any further questions for staff? If not, I'll entertain a motion. I will make a motion that we adopt Resolution 2022-06, declaring an economic revitalization area, Rise Avon LLC, as presented. I'm not
Second.
hearing- Oh, all right. We have a first and a second. Julie, would you mind taking roll call, please?
Steve Eisenbarth,
For, just,
Aaron
it's
Teveba,
kinda-
For.
Robert Pope,
4.
Greg Zuzen.
Against.
Ian, would you mind grabbing, oh, Ryan, you're going to take your, Ryan is going to grab Dawn and bring her back in. Let the record state Dawn Loudon rejoined the meeting. Next item on the agenda, Resolution 2022-07, declaring an economic revitalization area, Distribution Realty Group LLC.
Yeah, I won't add too much more, just as we kind of previously talked about, this is kind of the first step in the process. John also mentioned that town council had previously passed a resolution saying that they'd support abatements for buildings over 100,000. This one is over that threshold, so again, this is just starting that process. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for staff?
I have a question. Seems odd that the same management information that's on page 6 of the application is the same figures as the prior one that we just looked at. Why would they be the same? 57 to 85,000, 72,000 average salary, 8 jobs. Quality control was 3 jobs.
That's our example. That's the example that we provide. That's actually, it's showing them how to fill in that information. So if you notice underneath it, Greg, it says TBD, to be determined. So that's just an example that if you notice, it says top row is provided as an example only.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
No further questions for staff? Anyone care to make a motion?
I move we approve Resolution 2022-07 as presented.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. Julie, roll call, please.
Robert Pope,
4.
Don Loudon, Greg Zuzen,
4.
Aaron Teveba,
For.
Steve Eisenbarth.
For,
Next item on the agenda, final reading ordinance 2022-14, reestablishing the recreation impact fee.
Yes, this was introduced to the town council at your previous meeting, and we did have some discussion about providing an escalator in this, and the town council did express a desire to do that, so we did modify that. It went to the Plan Commission on Monday night, and the Plan Commission passed a resolution supporting it as well, so that is the second to last step. It is now coming to the town council for final adoption. The fee is being established at $1,227. That would go into effect January 1st of 2023, and then that 3% escalator would go up each year, and that is provided in the resolution that shows what that fee would be each of the preceding years as well. So I'm happy to answer any questions. If you have additional things, I've got some packets over here. If anyone wants a hard copy of the recreation improvement plan, I know you guys love those plans and papers. So if you want one, you can grab one on the way out, or if you want to look at anything, I'm happy to provide that to you.
I really appreciate this. I think it's good to be able to look at it and keep it moving in future. And so I think it's great.
Any questions for staff? If not, entertain a motion. Anyone?
I make a motion that we approve ordinance 20.
Your microphone.
I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2022-14, adopting a replacement recreation impact fee of $1,227.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Julie, would you take roll call, please?
Steve Eisenbarth,
4.
Aaron Teveba,
4.
Robert Pope,
4.
Don Loudon,
4.
Greg Zuzen.
4.
Next item on the agenda, legal counsel report. Mr. Taylor,
Nothing tonight, thank you.
good to have you back. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, the second of 2 public comment opportunities. Please come forward to the mic, state your name and address, and limit your time to 3 minutes. Seeing no one coming forward, we'll end that section of public comment. Council comment. One more opportunity, everyone.
Just everyone have a safe and happy holiday.
So on that note, the next 2 meetings, believe it or not, I will be gone for both of them. So I'm going to see if I could chime in and listen and maybe even participate. I guess I'll check with Ryan and Dan and see what can happen there. But
Well, you can do that, but we can still mute them, right?
no, you can't do that. Yeah.
The only thing he cannot do is vote on a financial issue.
But I can be chatty, and that's what I'll do. My wife's going to be real tired. We got hiking all day, and she's going to be sleeping, and I'll be able to chat.
Yes, everyone have a safe Memorial Day weekend.
Everyone too.
Next item on the agenda, council calendar.
Yeah, next meeting is June 9th. Just as a reminder, we're going to do an executive session at 5 o'clock from 5 to 6, and then we'll do our work session from 6 to 7, and then council meeting at 7 o'clock.
Bring your sleeping bags.
That's it. Meeting adjourned.